This build is crazy, and we are going to go through everything from the skills, the equipment, the gems, literally everything. So a lot of build guides I've seen recently have been great, but unfortunately they aren't always the easiest to follow. The videos tend to transition to different parts of the skill tree and it all gets a bit messy and confusing. So I'm going to focus on getting the information of this ridiculously overpowered build out in a clear and concise way. I'll timestamp each section to make it easier to reference again later, and I'll leave time at the end of each section so you can screenshot the info you need. And if you prefer to see it written down, I'll have the full build on my website too, so I'll pin that link in the comments. Today's video is sponsored by our good friends over at u4gm.com. If you're looking for gold, items, and everything in between, these guys will give you the cheapest price and the fastest delivery, and right now you can use code EXPLOITS for 5% off your order. So for your first 3 levels, you're going to pop them into the basic skills section. Firstly, you'll want Puncture. This is a great mid to short range attack that slows enemies by 20% for 2 seconds for every 3rd time you use it. Then spend your second point on the enhanced version, which will give you 2 energy every time you damage a crowd controlled enemy using Puncture. And then spend your 3rd point on fundamental Puncture, which now sends out 3 blades with a chance at making enemies vulnerable. Here's what your basic skill should look like on the skill tree. I'll leave it up for 3 seconds so you can screenshot it. For core skills, we're going to be putting 13 skill points down here. Of course, we'll be popping our first 5 into Twisted Blades. They may have received a nerf recently, but this skill is still ridiculous. Pop your next skill point into the enhanced version of that, which will give your blades a 30% increase in damage when returning to your hands. Your next point will be going into Advanced Twisting Blades to help lower that cooldown. You'll then want to move over to Sturdy and pop 3 points down for a big boost in close damage reduction. This is perfect as you'll be zipping through crowds of enemies who will all be looking to damage you. Put 2 points into Siphoning Strikes for a boost in health whenever you critically strike. And finally, sink a point into the Stutter Step skill for a very noticeable boost in your movement speed. Here's what your core skill should look like on the skill tree. Again, I'll leave it up for 3 seconds so that you can screenshot it. For your first 2 points in Subterfuge, go ahead and purchase the Poison Trap and the enhanced version. This is great for doing damage over time to a lot of enemies at once, but also the enhanced version knocks enemies down, which will not only keep them from attacking you, but it will also keep them in the poison for longer. You'll then want to sink 3 points into Exploit for an 18% increase in damage to healthy and injured enemies, and then 3 points into Malice for a 9% increase in damage to vulnerable enemies. Here's what your Subterfuge skills should look like on the skill tree. I'll be leaving it up for 3 seconds so that you can screenshot it. Moving down to Imbuement now, we're sinking 5 points into Shadow Imbuement. This will give the next 2 imbuable attacks that you use shadow damage. For example, Puncture or Twisting Blades. And that will infect those enemies for 6 seconds. This will cause those enemies to eventually blow up, causing damage to the enemies around them. So you'll be zipping around the battlefield just causing endless explosions. You'll then want to sink a point into Shadow Crash for a chance to stun enemies with Shadow Imbuement, and 3 points into Consuming Shadows, which will generate tons of energy for you whilst you're using Shadow Imbuement. Finally, for Imbuement, you'll want to put 3 points into Precision Imbuement, which will give you a better chance at hitting critical damage with imbued skills, perfect for wiping out crowds of enemies. Here's what your Imbuement skill should look like on the skill tree. Once again, I'll leave it up for 3 seconds so that you can screenshot it. For the ultimate, you've got 2 choices. One is way more efficient and effective, whilst the other is just a lot of fun. For the fun option, sink a point into all 3 sections of the Shadow Clone skill. It's a lot of fun moving around and taking down twice the amount of enemies, especially when you drop a trap and see enemies drop in poison from 2 different corners of the battlefield. It is still quick and effective in fights, but obviously only in short bursts. Here's what your ultimate skill would look like on the skill tree if you choose this. I'm leaving it up so you can screenshot. Then for a consistent yet tamer version of that, your other option is to forego the ultimate ability completely and opt to sink your points into stats that contribute to your build. The The cost is a little higher than throwing 3 points into Shadow Clone, but it is worth it. You want to start with putting 3 points into Innovation, which will give you a 30% chance to gain 8 energy on every hit. Then you'll want 1 point in Adrenaline Rush. This will boost your energy regen whenever you're on the move. You want 3 points in Haste for a boost in movement speed or attack speed, which will depend on your current situation in a fight. And then finally, you'll want to put 3 points into Impetus, which gives your attack a 21% boost in damage every time you move 15 meters. Here's what your ultimate skills would look like on the skill tree if you chose this. Again, leaving it up so you can screenshot. Then finally, your key passive should be Momentum, which will grant stacks of momentum whenever you use a Cutthroat skill. For your specialization, you'll want to go with Inner Sight, which gives you bursts of unlimited energy. So I'll do a quick run through of what you should prioritize when selecting equipment. Obviously, these aren't all doable straight off the bat, but it's just an idea of what to look out for and what to focus on. For your one-handed weapons, you'll want to boost vulnerable damage, core skill damage, and damage to close enemies. For your helmet, you'll want to boost maximum life, armor, and ranks to shadow imbuement. For your chest, you could boost damage, damage reduction, and armor. Gloves, you could boost ranks of twisting blades, attack speed, and critical strike chance. For your legs, you could boost damage reduction, maximum life, and armor. Your boots, you could boost movement speed, armor, and energy cost reduction. And with the jewelry, you could boost damage, cutthroat skill damage, and damage to elites. And then finally, let's talk gems. For your weapons, you'll want to go for the Emerald, which gives crit damage to vulnerable enemies. For your armor, you'll want to go for the Ruby, which gives a percentage boost in life. And for your jewelry, you'll want to go for the Skull, which gives a boost in armor. So that is everything. If this video helped, please do drop a like or sub. Now go have fun, and thanks for watching.
Okay. Oh, I got rewarded for that.
Ow.
Oh, Astro. Are those your comments?
Comments?
Yeah, I'm assuming no. Comets? Oh yeah, they're mine.
I just press the buttons, Liam. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, me too. I just press them as hard as I can and as fast as I can. Jeez, this guy's done all to me.
Yeah, he's like this. Like I'm not even moving. I'm just standing still on fire.
Yeah.
Ultimate power. Dog riding.
Yeah.
It's not even a good dog.
Yeah, I feel like this has been underwhelming so far.
What's he doing? Where's he going?
Come back, you prick.
Stop running away. It's like you're like this demon of hell that's been locked away, riding a giant dog, and you're running away from 2 tiny people.
And he hasn't even touched my health. I've not had to press L1 once.
He's hit me once, and that's it.
Oh yeah, I just got hit. Finally.
Oh yeah, they got hit again. Oh, don't stand in those fire pits.
No,
Take down your
got
health.
rinsed by that.
Oh, the dog has changed colour a bit.
Oh.
Oh no, maybe not. Maybe it was your. Are you doing shadow damage?
Oh
What's
yeah.
All these people on fire running around.
Oh.
Ow.
Whenever he runs away, I just press triangle and I zip behind him.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm in the flames. Come back, you. Yeah, I change him from green to purple with my shadow and...
Time to die, hippie. Just melting his health. Oh, look, you got knocked down while you were doing your stupid attack.
There's so much health around. Yeah.
That druid guy was like a million times harder than this. This isn't even difficult. I'm not even trying. I'm just pressing the button.
Yeah. I'm just hitting him with X.
Yeah.
poison nerd.
Is he dead?
Yup.
Oh, he won't be dead. It'll be his dog that's dead. Maybe I have to fight him now. And actually,
Yeah, hopefully it'll be really hard.
he appears
Oh, wait.
to actually be dead.
No.